Speaking of Impact, Impact Wrestling has its Hard to Kill pay-per-view. Hard to Kill is a very apt name for Impact Wrestling. As long as they've been around for and all of the struggles they've had over the years and the different regimes and bouncing from one network in one night of the week to the next, they are in fact hard to kill. So a very appropriate title for their pay-per-view. That's coming up next Sunday, January 12, I believe it is. Tessa Blanchard challenging Sami Callihan for the Impact World title. A few weeks ago on Impact, Sami and Tessa had a giant brawl that spilled out into the streets of New York City. I only knew this because I saw the clip spreading. It was going viral on social media. Because I don't watch Impact week to week anymore like I used to. And so I saw the clip, and I saw the other day that the clip has since racked up over 4 million. In fact, it could be closer to 5 million by now, because this was a few days ago. It has racked up well over 4 million Facebook views. Now, I say the same thing whenever WWE has a video that racks up millions of views on YouTube, and you get these people who say, oh, well, obviously this segment is fantastic because it got 3 million views or it got 5 million views. Yeah, it's fantastic, I guess, if they're making ad money off the video on YouTube. I have no idea, if there's some kind of flat fee they get paid. I have no idea how WWE is making money off YouTube. I'm sure they are. I don't know the system or the structure that they have in place. So in that respect, yeah, that's a great thing for them. But I always laugh because they will post segments that are really entertaining sometimes, that rack up a lot of views. And they'll also post stuff on YouTube, on their channel, that is absolute pure dog shit. But somehow, to some people, this is some kind of validation that, see, everybody who didn't like the segment, everybody who said the segment was terrible, they were wrong. No, they weren't. It really all depends on what your definition of a great segment is. When you're watching a segment on WWE television, if you're judging it based on entertainment value, replay value, is it the sort of thing that's going to drive you to watch the show and come back next week, buy that person's t-shirt, buy a ticket to the next show? If you judge it on that criteria, I think that's kind of the way a lot of people look at it. You can absolutely have a horrendous segment that really doesn't serve any purpose other than to just generate some talk online and rack up views. It could still be a shit segment, which I still maintain that wedding was last week. Some people disagree with me. Those people are certainly entitled to be wrong. That's fine. Nobody's perfect. But I think everybody has their own definition of these things. Some people will look at it and go, the only thing that matters is, does it get people talking? Does it generate buzz? If it did, and if it racks up 5 million views, then it was a great segment. That's how they define greatness. And you're never going to get those people to come around to your point of view because the way they look at it and view it is just completely different from the way that you may look at it and from the way that I may look at it. So you can call it whatever you want. I have a word for it. I'll bet my word for it is very different than your word for it. But I'm not going to argue with these people anymore because it's completely pointless. Anyway, so we see that sometimes with WWE videos, right? The question is, what does it translate to? That's what I want to know. 2 million, 5 million, 10 million views. What does it mean? What does it translate to? Does it make more people watch the television show if they see something on Facebook or on YouTube? It's kind of important, as New Japan is finding out now, to have a television show. You can call it a dying medium. There's social media now. People watch in different ways. Millennial this, millennial that. That's fine. But it's still live and die in a lot of ways. A lot of these promotions do. By their television deal. Go talk to the people that run these companies and say, hey, we're going to take your television away from you. But hey, it's okay because you got a Facebook page, right? You have a YouTube page. You got Google AdSense enabled. You'll be all right. You don't mind, do you? Sure, go ahead. We don't need the television. TV's a dying breed. Go ahead, give it to somebody else. Go see what their reaction is. That's still the most important lifeblood for a lot of companies. You take that away, it's going to hurt them. So you need to make sure that you can get people to tune in to watch your television show. So if that's what this segment does, and Impact on Access next week goes up by 500,000 viewers, that's, hey, bravo. Bravo to Impact. I'm going to make a prediction now that will not happen. But that's the question. Does it make more people watch the show, buy a ticket? There's no evidence of this. Is that video going to make people want to buy the pay-per-view to see Sammy and Tessa? That's the bigger question to me. We'll find out. But that is it's damn impressive. I'm not trying to bash them. I'm actually trying to give them credit here, because that's damn impressive that a TV show that you have to think, and I don't think Access releases their ratings information, but you would have to think that having that television show that probably, if they're lucky, scrapes up maybe a few 100,000 viewers each week. I can't imagine that show gets more than 200,000 to 300,000, if even that. If even that. That Impact does those kind of numbers every single week. And the fact that they would get a segment that nets at last count 4.7 million views on Facebook is impressive. That video was posted, if you're saying, well, was it posted a month ago? It's had a month to rack up those views. It was posted on the same day. Or maybe the following morning, but it was the same day as the Lana and Lashley wedding, last Monday. They went up almost at the same time. And that video on WWE's YouTube channel, with 52 million subscribers, had at last count over 4.2 million views. The Tessa video with Sammy has more views than the Lana and Lashley wedding does. And I actually thoroughly enjoyed the Impact segment a lot more than I did that stupid Raw segment. So I got to give Impact their props on that. I don't know what it's going to mean, but that is an impressive number. I don't know if they're putting the title on Tessa or not, but if they do, I would have no problem with it. She looked competitive in there with Sammy. She lost, but in defeat, I thought that they had a damn good match the last time I saw them in the ring together. She was made to look competitive with him, and I thought she was believable enough in there with Sammy. Now, if Sammy was, 6'5" and 300 pounds, would I feel the same way? Maybe not. I'd have to see the match. I did see a little bit of a match that she had with Brian Cage a few weeks ago, and I felt a little differently about that one. And she pinned him. She beat Cage in the middle of the ring. That was, see, that was a little bit different for me. But the stuff with her and Sammy is more believable to me than seeing her in there with Brian Cage. So, but it wouldn't bother me if they did a title change. The only critique I have when it comes to the stuff that I've seen Tessa doing is her facial expressions. After those near falls in her matches where she thinks she has the match won and then she doesn't, and they zoom in on her reaction. Now, every wrestler has a reaction. Their eyes bug out of their head, or they can't believe it. They all have kind of a similar kind of reaction. But in a lot of her matches, her reactions are so over the top. It's my one knock, really, on Will Ospreay. Also, the same thing happens in Will Ospreay's matches a lot of the time. And he was my wrestler. I had him pegged as my wrestler of the year last year. But the over-the-top expressions are just way too cartoonish for me. But again, that's a minor critique. If that's my only critique, that's not bad. But yeah, we'll see if they pull the trigger and they do the title change. If they do, you're going to see a lot of very butthurt people online who are going to be very upset. And maybe that's what they're looking for. Maybe they want to get a rise. They want to get a reaction, get people talking like that clip did on Facebook. Because what Impact could use more than anything right now, they need people talking about them and knowing they exist. I don't think I can recall a period of time in the history of this company where it just seems like there's just nothing there. They have some talent. Their PR machine, I get emails from them a lot. So they're doing a good job as far as funneling information out. But as far as just people chattering about Impact on social media, or me getting emails about, now I don't cover Impact a lot on this show, so it kind of makes sense, but it just seems like they can't find a formula that works to really get people talking about them. Maybe that's the goal here. And maybe changing the championship is one way to do that.